What's up, crypto media friends? We're in the overtime session here on a Saturday. Working real late again, hours, and just wanted to chat about and follow up with the big Galaxy Egg reveal. I know it was something we talked about, and I know a lot of you were into Galaxy Eggs, and it's such a unique project. I want to jump right into it so that we can examine, kind of how things went. For their launch, it was about 0.75, and in the reveal stage, on the pre-reveal stage, which we talk about, is time of acquisition before pricing and rarities take hold, and then it's got a strong footing at about 0.95ish. There was a couple here you can see at 0.89, but they're getting snapped up, and so slowly the four is pushing to about 1 ETH. You have people trying to drop just below that to get a quick sale and get out of a position that they have, and so the art I think came out quite cool. As cool as I thought it was going to be. I love this boombox here, and like as I thought, you're like 1% trait. That's how much work went behind this. There's 104. And I'll kind of show you guys the rarities in a bit here, but the rarities range from about 40 to, I think maybe there's one collection that has about 200 or so, and that's very varied for something of 10,000. That's pretty incredible. So you have a lot of variance, and so I feel like everybody immediately felt like they got a rarity. That gives you a feeling of, hey, I'm into something, kind of cool, and it gives you feel a bit special about it, and you also probably price it quite high, like you're seeing, and so this one has, I wanted to check in on the Discords, and everyone's super excited to look at how many holders there are, 4935. Which is amazing for a series of 10,000 on average, 2 each roughly, so there isn't going to be much in terms of anybody dropping. I think it would be a general feeling of like, oh my gosh, the market is crashing, and then it would force everybody to sell. But there aren't too many. I know they had a big problem with I think I saw who was the holder of this thing. It's an NFT club. I believe they're based in China. They pool all this money together, and they put the tip fee for the miners to be through the roof. So it's like paying a bouncer, like to get through into the club. And they were super successful at doing it on this project. And the Galaxy Eggs people reached out, and they were not happy about it, and I think to my surprise, from what they were reporting, that the group was actually very amenable to offloading and selling on the secondary market during the reveal stage a lot of what they had minted and spreading it around a bit, which I thought was very interesting. Certainly they spread it into the people who bought into the club, so maybe that's part of the reason why there's so many holders. But the way that they minted was really, really, there's the rarity score of 8661. But in this one, does rarity matter? I don't know. Come find out with me as we reveal at the end of this. So, you can go to Rarity Tools. The Rarity Tools wasn't listing it quite yet. And so here's my egg. It's still sitting there. I didn't know what I have. At this point, I don't know what I have at this point. But man, I'm looking at things like that. It's really incredible. And you kind of don't care what the rarity is on that, right? It's just an incredible piece of art. And so that's where sort of the trade-off is, when you're looking at these. Here's a rarity of 9129. Here's a big rarity at 135, and doesn't give a ranking yet. But and these don't matter a ton, but it allows you to look at sort of what is ostensibly rare because a lot of the data isn't in there now. Look at this rarity ranking of 994. The dragon, it's really fantastic, this piece. And the series, I mean, they're just beautiful. And let me see if I can move that over for you guys. Really beautiful and stunning, really. And I think there's something like 20 or 30 of them. And you can see sort of if you just scroll through the rankings, then you get into sort of the next rarity, which is, look at this. This is incredible. This sort of like Genesis bower of birth. It's really fantastic. Each one of these does have a name, and I think once Rarity Tools gets listed, they'll give them, you know, the names and categories of these worlds that are within each egg. But like I said, they're not too many. They're very varied, and so you have many collections of, you know, somewhere between 50, 60 and 200. And so everyone feels like they got something quite rare because of just how much work went into this project. And that's pretty awesome as a feeling. Now, what is it going to mean in terms of market? Tough to say, like, as I'm just kind of floating through here, like that. You can see the floor price going up here. But, you know, market-wise, you know, what do we have to compare it with? I think you have, you know, the reveal, and then you have sort of how the market's reacting. And we can, you know, gauge that by looking at the pricing here. And you see just a slight uptick after the reveal today. And so, you know, it's a very modest uptick, but, you know, it's nonetheless an uptick. And, you know, you compare it to a lot of brisk sales going on here. And you compare it to, like, you know, let's compare it to Oni's. Oni's, which was just skyrocket right up into, what was that, 3 days? It was a good 2-3 days where it was just like, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get into this. Really liked it. And as you guys can follow, if you follow the channel, you sort of remember I got sort of wrecked in the mint and wasn't able to really, in my own brain, forgive that and buy on the secondary market. And by the time, you know, the reveal hit, it was just off to the races for this project. But, you know, it's kind of settling back down. So, you know, I keep recommending, if you're looking for ways back into projects that you really had hope for in terms of its roadmap and its utility and its collectability, now's not a bad time. And so we look at that, and I wanted to, you know, we look at also the sevens, which, ouch, floor price really dropped on them. But look at that volume. That volume is mental. That's incredible volume. Oni is at 41K, and you know, but still sevens, massive launch, and they released on the 7th. So you see that big spike there. It's a lot of sales action relative to the price, isn't it? That was the market reaction. Maybe to the art, maybe to the market conditions of selling something at, you know, roughly almost 2 ETH, because there was such high value associated with the project at the moment, being that it could be the next, you know, Oniforce. But eventually, you know, it kind of calmed down, and I think the reaction for me was to the art. I dig some of them. But I think overall you could tell it felt hurried, and again, no FUD. I think these guys work so gosh darn hard. But I think with Galaxy Eggs you have something that, sorry, I have to probably log off soon and join a stream conference call. But you know, it's a beautiful project, and let's go through what the heck happened to me. So I got one. You guys saw number 1750, and it was still stuck in the metadata, and so you got to click up in the I do it up in the lower upper right there. It'll say refresh metadata. It took me a few times to do it. It usually does, and maybe 10-15 minutes or so before I was able to then refresh the browser and get my reveal of what I got, which is this beauty. And I was like pretty stoked. I think it's really beautiful. It felt quite unique. I hadn't seen this version before, and so I was actually a bit stunned to get it, because I was like, oh, Apple, okay. We're talking a lot of symbolism here of fecundity and the flower, and the girl is it's quite beautiful, and I think it felt very unique, and so I was like, I'm okay with this purchase. I think in terms of, look at this detail. It's a really beautiful piece, and it has just massive symbolism. When you look at sort of the elements that are placed in here, I'll show you one that I loved even more, even though mine's a bit rarer. And so there was also, like, if you ever get stuck in like your metadata isn't refreshing on OpenSeas, you can go, depending on how long it's been, onto Rarity Tools or NFT River. And NFT River seems to just, I don't know who reports this, but they seem to rush into there. Now, here's where I was blown away, guys. So that's a really high rarity score, 151. And I was like, wow, that's pretty high. My rank is currently, again, they're going to update this stuff, but the current rank for this is 195 out of 10,000. I was stunned. I am stunned. Just like that, I keep pushing this idea of like, hey, buying it during the pre-reveal stage or even at mint, could allow you to be quote unquote, in the money. You can tell, look, there's 10 luck dragons, which are the dragons that I showed you. And the one that we have currently up is Wonderland at 66. And so, but you can see, look at, it's not too far off, like, from all of the other projects, like, they're just in the hundreds. This one just happens to be 66. But, if you're going like astronaut, there's only 110 of those. So it kind of comes down to aesthetics and, what you like. And I actually would like to trade in mine for, there's one or two that I think are just incredible. Even in this Wonderland paradigm, you can also look at sort of the other Wonderlands that that are available. And I was kind of blown away. The floor on that is 2.8. That's the floor of this project. So going from 0.7 to 2.8, that's a 4x, roughly, in 12 hours. So kind of awesome, if I wanted to sell. But here it is. Man, I really like this piece. I think this piece is so fantastic. It's, it's the Wonderland theme, but by placing the flower sort of goddess on top, it really has this incredible theme about, I don't know, I mentioned fecundity, but like, womanhood and I don't know, there's a lot of interesting accidents here. And just the coloration, look at the red, the snails on the inside look more like roses. So, like I said, when some of these hit, man, they really have this high art appeal to me. And I knew this project was going to have a lot of that. And so there's so many within the Wonderland, and with a lot of others. Mine just happened to be Wonderland. Look at that, it's mental. And so TBD, I got to run into this conference call. I don't know if I'm going to sell. If I were to, the floor being 4x what I purchased at, and I'm already getting offers. I think this is mine here, at about what I paid for it. And so, I've been in this scenario with Vogu, and I think Vogu is probably the most prominent in terms of like, wow, people really wanting the rarity that I'd caught. But this is probably the most rare of a collection, especially this being 10,000, to get 100 whatever. That's quite rare. That's the most rare I've ever had, and so very lucky. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride, and I'll keep you posted as to sort of what I decide in the coming days, and do another video on it. But please subscribe, and this is why I do this stuff live, to sort of demonstrate how to approach collecting in the space, and kind of showing the windows of opportunity in the space, and rationale for why I'm collecting certain things. As a creator, it's like I'm interested in how things are being executed in the space while I'm collecting, and they just happen to reveal opportunities, we'll say. This is not that financial sort of channel that many people are like, oh, these are gonna 100x you, it's just like, I don't know, are they? Maybe here, if you hit a rarity, I think that's part of it. But I see some of these clickbaity headlines from some people who are jumping into the space now, where it seems like a promise that they're going to show you how to make these 100x gains, and they're just really just luck you saw. But B, also your own personal aesthetic, I think, also plays into it, like what you are willing to be happy with as a purchase. I think I got very lucky, super lucky, and thanks for watching with me on it, and I'll keep you posted. Please subscribe, hit that bell, and I got some new projects coming up as well for some similar opportunities to look at some new projects that I think are interesting and that are coming up. There's a couple that I'm just I'm kind of surprised. I see a lot of the whales having eyes on, and it's so limited in its collection. It's like the floor is oh yeah, the floor is 0.25 or something. As soon as you buy one, that goes to 2. So it's because there's so few of these available. And so every time I try and recommend smaller collections, I always feel tough, because by the time it comes out, and you're looking at this, hopefully you're not looking at this 6 months later. So subscribe now, because if you're looking at this 6 months later, I apologize, as you're I really wanted to get on that project, and you didn't know about it because you're not a subscriber. So please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.